All right, so here we have Bitcoin on Bybit on the 1 hour. All right, so basically we're in a range right now. We do have 3 touches of the top, 2 touches of the bottom have formed a range. We did get back above those moving averages. Like one of the scenarios we were talking about, if we got above those moving averages, we'd probably hit the top of the range. We have got rejected from the top of the range. Right now we are sitting on the 21 and the 50. It's holding us up. Now, we are in the neutral median zone for your RSI, which is a momentum oscillator. It judges the bullish and bearish momentum. We need to get back above 2208 in order to cross that signal line back to the upside. So we're pretty neutral right now in the RSI, although we do have bearish divergence. Let me see here. Yeah, we do have bearish divergence right now from this point to this point. Now, this move could have already played out. Let's see how much we went down. I'm not sure about that. We could still come down to the 100, possibly the middle of the range. So we will find out. Now, if we do fall below the middle of this range, I would expect us to come back down to the bottom of the range. Excuse me. Right now, your MACD curling over. Positive momentum is decreasing on the histogram. Once again, your MACD is also a momentum oscillator. Now, we need to get back above 2231 in order to start heading to the upside again, which goes in confluence with your 2209, 2209, 20,209 on the RSI. Right now, your BBWP is very high, but it's crossing its moving average to the downside, which means we could consolidate here for a little bit unless we break the 200. Now, if we do break, like I said, the 100 and the middle of this range, I would expect this to come down, and that means these moving averages would fan out. So the probability would be higher that we break the bottom of the range this time. Now, another scenario is that we could get a fake out, bull trap, and hit the 200 in the bottom of this range. And then if we do that and come back down to the end of this range, I do expect us to break the bottom of the range. So that's 2 scenarios right now. Right now, we're neutral. It all depends on whether we break the 100 or break the top of the range, and then we have 2 different scenarios. If we do get rejected from the 200 in the bottom of this range and come back down, then we're probably going to break to the downside of the 19,500. Now, if we come up and get a retest of the top of the range and a resumption, I would expect us to come back into the top of this range. I would expect us to come back up to I would expect us to come back into the range and then probably come up to your highs. Now, anything less than this high is going to create bearish divergence, because you'll have higher highs on the RSI, you'll have lower highs on the price action. So anything less than breaking out of the top of this range, you're going to have bearish divergence. The higher probability is that we break down. Either we get the bull trap and then come back into the range, which I would expect us to break the bottom, or we break the moving averages and break to the bottom. Now, that does not mean that is what's going to happen. Remember, there is a percentage, I would say 65-35 in favor of the bears, but there's always that 35%. Let's go to the stochastic. So right now you are in the upper zone. It looks like you could be coming back down to the, we're on Ethereum, we're on Solana. Still in the upper zone. Looks like we could come back down to the POC point of control lands right where your middle band is. Right now your stochastic is pointing to the downside. Let's see if we have any divergences. We do have bearish divergence. So that's what I'm saying. We could come down to the POC point of control at 20 grand and your middle band. Let's see here. Let's go back to the trend chart, check the 4-hour. So right now your 4-hour RSI is also neutral. You did get out of the bearish control zone though. But you do have bearish divergence from this high to this high. MACD working its way up. Positive momentum's pretty stable. You need to stay above 20,009 in order to keep rising above. In order to cross that zero line, you need to get back above 21,600. If that does happen, I think we would at least test the bottom of this range. Also, where your 50 is coming in at. Your BBWP looks like it's consolidating and going to head back down below its moving average. If that happens, I think we consolidate for a little bit, possibly in the upper range of the range. So we're going to find out. Let's go to Ethereum. So yeah, I mean, basically I told you the three scenarios. And, you know, if we do come back down to the bottom of this range, get into the bearish control zone, that MACD curl over across that zero line, which we do have high resistance right where we're at. We have all these highs right here on the MACD. So we do have high resistance. Positive momentum is decreasing. But that would also imply that we cross that zero line. BBWP continue to stay in the upper zone, probably get back above its moving average as we break the 100 and the middle line and the POC point of control and the VPVR here to your right, which measures size horizontal volume at a certain price mark. Yeah, so if all that happens and your moving averages fan out, all crossing to the downside, I would expect us to break the bottom of the range. So basically what I'm saying is if we come back down to the bottom of the range, I would expect a small bounce, probably up to 19,800, and then break to the downside. And then also, second scenario is that we get the bull trap, come anywhere between the 200 and the bottom of this range, and then fall back into the range. Second scenario is that we get a retest. Once we break out, we get a retest of this range, come back into this range. I would remain short-term bullish, but we could even get rejected from this POC point of control on the 21,400. I would expect at least high resistance to that area. But basically, if we break the top of this range, I would expect us to come up to 22,500. Now, at that point, we'll come back to it because I do think that this was the last rally. I don't think we get back above 25K. But we'll find out whether we can at least have one more mini rally. All right, those are your three scenarios. Let's move on to Ethereum. By the way, if you guys are liking this video so far, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below, one being the Discord. A lot of good conversation about trading, investing in crypto in there. A lot of times we talk about the moves before I even get the video out. A lot of updates. We work collectively to figure out this market. So join the Discord, stay ahead of the curve. Also watch these videos, turn on your bell notifications so you can get notified with this time-sensitive content. Okay, so here on Ethereum on the 1 hour, looks like we're being held up by the 21. Basically, if we break the bottom of this range at 1560, probably going to take it level by level, probably going to bounce it, find some kind of resistance at 1550, where this 50 comes in at, and this VPVR level. Next would be this VPVR level and the 100 at 1512 to 1515. Next is your last low in this VPVR level at 1500. Right now your RSI did cross its signal line on 2 ticks. So we got 2 ticks. Need to get back above 1585 in order to cross that signal line to the upside. MACD looks like it's going to try to cross the signal line to the downside. Your positive momentum is decreasing. If we do cross that zero line, which would be at 1414, I would expect a pretty strong cascade down. BBWP, which measures volatility, has crossed below its moving average. So we're not in a range for Ethereum. If we break the bottom of this range and break the 50, I would expect a small bounce at the 100, but ultimately I think we come back down to 1474, which is this last low. We do have bearish divergence from this high to this high. RSI is making lower highs, price action's making higher highs. The bearish divergence could lead us down to the 50 at 1550. So at that point, that's when I'm going to be neutral. Probably going to come back down to the zero line on the RSI, and then we'll come back to it. Because if we break the neutral median line on the RSI, I would expect us to come into the bearish control zone, probably get a bounce from the top of the bearish control zone. But ultimately, right now, we're kind of at the line in the sand. We need to keep this momentum bullish. We need to get the momentum bullish if you are bullish, because right now we're neutral. So if we turn bearish, probably going to cascade down. Probably a stair step pattern. Your volatility starting to contract. So we'll probably stair step our way down, which basically is what we've been doing. You know, we had a down move, up move, down move, up move. You know what I mean? Pretty much staircasing down. If we do break this last low at basically 1475, I would expect us to come back down to 1350. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Ethereum. Let's move on to the stochastic. So you have broken this VPVR level, and right now it's holding us down. You did kind of front run the 20 MA, which is your neutral band. Stochastic is pointed down. If we break the neutral band, I would expect us to come back down to this low at 1525, which is in confluence with another level. Bottom band is coming right into the POC point of control in the VPVR and this last low. So like I was saying, if we break 1500, I would expect us to come back down to this low, 1425. So that's basically what I'm looking at for Ethereum. Let's move on to Solana. Okay, now Solana making a lower high right now. We did make a higher low. So basically we need to find out whether we break this range or not. If we break this last low, I think we come down to $29. Right now your RSI is in the neutral median zone. Basically just converging with its signal line right now. We need to get back above, well, basically right where we are. So I'd like to see us get back above 3230 on a closure in order to cross that signal line to the upside. Right now you are above your zero line, but you're hitting high resistance here on the MACD. So if this thing curls over and crosses its signal line, I would expect us to come back down to the bottom of this purple region at least. BBWP falling below its moving average into the lower zone right now, so we could consolidate a little bit. Possibly get back into this purple zone, consolidate a little bit. You got your POC point of control coming in at the top of the range, of the top of the purple zone. So I would expect us to get a bounce. We kind of already had one. So honestly, I think if we fall below this, we're going to get a small bounce at the POC right where the 100 is. Probably consolidate here for a little bit into the purple zone, and then possibly break the bottom at $31. If we break $31, I would expect a small bounce at $30. But ultimately, I think we come back down to $28.50. Let's go ahead and widen these. Let's check the stochastic. Let's see here. So stochastic, we are in the upper zone. Middle band basically comes in at this VPVR level right here. Stochastic looks like it's trying to turn around. If we can cross this signal line to the upside and follow through on the cross of this signal line, get back above this level on the RSI, that high, and get back into the upper zone of the BBWP, I would expect us to come up to the 200, 1325, 3325, come back down, retest this level at 3255, and then head up to this purple zone at 3450 region. Then we'll come back to it, because what happens then, you know what I mean, we could get rejected from this level, and that would kind of be in confluence with Bitcoin getting up to the bottom of this range, possibly having a bull trap, which we went over the scenarios already. So those are my thoughts for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on those bell notifications so you get notified with this time-sensitive content. Everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.